Okay. Uh, Guys, are you able to hear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 1 second. Yeah, volumes are full. So yeah, I hope my voice is clear. Guys, this is the first time I'm taking through a laptop, so bear with me if there is something wrong. So please make sure that you do let me know if you're not able to see anything, right? Cool. Yes. So let me share my screen, right? So let's give me a moment. So hope everybody is able to see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Cool. 1 second. Okay. Okay, guys, are you able to see my full screen now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so we were doing thermodynamics, obviously, right? So yesterday we talked a little about enthalpy, right? So if you can remember, people, right? Enthalpy, I'll be able to. I mean, we already defined what is enthalpy, right? Can someone tell me what exactly is enthalpy? How do we define it?
Heat lost or gained at constant pressure is enthalpy.
Correct. So last class we saw that delta H. Okay, 1 second. So okay, wait. So yeah. So delta H will be equal to NCP. Sorry, NCP del T. So this is the equation which we got, right? And if I go for an isobaric process, guys, bear with my handwriting, right? And first I'm using it, I'll get used to it. So please bear with it. So when I go for an isobaric process, right? So we know equation of first law looks like this. So I know it looks like this. So I have delta E is equal to Q plus W, right? So this is what happened, right? So since it is going to happen at constant pressure, I can write this Q as QP, right? Okay, so now this QP I will be able to replace with my delta H, because that's how we defined my what is this QP? QP is heat lost or heat gained at constant pressure, right? So I can rewrite this equation as delta E is equal to del H plus W, right? This is what we got if you can remember last class, right? And we substituted W, right? For W we know W is equal to minus uh, guys, 1 second. Let it be. Fine. So I have so P W is equal to minus P external del V, right? Minus P external del V. Now what I can do? Now I know that PV is equal to nRT, right? So now we said that we are going to do only for gases, right? Because we are doing ultimately only with gases, right? That's why we are able to even use the ideal gas equation. If it was solid or liquid, we'll not be even able to use this equation, right? So I have PV here. I have say here I have P del V. Here I have PV. Right? So if I want to incorporate this two in the same equation, how I can write is basically P del V will be equal to delta Ng RT, right? So delta Ng RT. And I told you what delta Ng is. Can someone tell me from the last class, whomever attended, tell me what is this delta Ng? How will you calculate this?
So stoichiometric coefficient of products in a chemical reaction, a gaseous products in a
Yeah,
chemical reaction minus coefficients of gaseous reactants.
correct. So yeah, that's what we saw, right? So delta Ng you should be calculating as total stoichiometric coefficient. So stoichiometric coefficients of gaseous products. eh, yeah, products minus same thing for gaseous. Actually, we will just give me a moment. Yeah. So if I change the angle, you'll not be able to see my face. That's what I'm thinking. But if I do that, I'll be getting. So guys, you want to see me or not? Like, you want to see my face? Is it required that you want to see my face, or is it okay when if you don't see my face? Okay, now that you're so used to it, it's better that even I want to obviously show my face because it's better when I teach. Right? So, anyways, cool. So let me figure out a way like for doing this. Okay. So, anyways, so gaseous, the stoichiometric coefficient of gaseous products minus the same thing for a gaseous reactant R. Right. So we saw so many examples, right? If you can remember, right? So for example, if I have, we saw so many examples, say if I have Fe plus HCl, if I have, I know I'm going to get FeCl2 plus hydrogen gas is what I'm going to get. All see, here it is a solid, here it is an aqueous solution, and here I have again a aqueous solution, a salt, right? And here I have my gas. Okay, so if I want to find delta Ng, for this reaction, right? So what will you do? You will take only gaseous reactants and gaseous products. Other things are not included. Solids, liquids, and gases. Solids, liquids, and aqueous solutions are not going to be included in the delta Ng equation. Fine. So let me start with the products. In the product side, I have hydrogen gas. So and the stoichiometric coefficient is 1, right? So I can say 1 minus. That's about the product part. There is no other gas here. And when I go to the reactant side, you can see that there are no gases. So 1 minus 0 will become 1. 1 minus, 1 minus 0 will become 1. So delta Ng for this reaction would be 1. Okay, so we saw so many other examples also last class. So please go through it if you don't remember. Okay, so you have to take only gaseous reactants and gaseous products. Is it understood? Right. Cool. And if that's now we got the equation, now we can rewrite your first law in this way. I can write delta E is equal to del H minus delta Ng RT. So this is what we will get, isn't it? So I had basically here, I had my W, and that W was equal to minus P external del V, isn't it? And now the P external del V became delta Ng RT. Okay, so now what I can say is, say if I rewrite this equation a little bit, I can write del H minus del E will be equal to delta Ng RT. So this is what the equation you will get. So a lot of times they'll ask you to find the difference between enthalpy and the internal energy of a particular process, right? So if they ask you that, you just have to use delta Ng RT. So if you do that, first thing is to find for the chemical reaction the delta Ng value, right? And then substituting it here and calculating what is the difference between my enthalpy and my internal energy. Okay, so we'll do some problems on this, don't worry, but not today. Okay, so this is where we stopped last class, people, right? The different. Okay, and one more thing I told you, that why are we not taking solids and liquids into the picture is because whenever they undergo expansion or compression for that matter, during any process, say I heat it, right? Or say I cool it, I compress it, something I do, right? So the change in volume, right? The change in volume which is going to happen for solids or liquids is very negligible, especially for liquids, right? So we know liquids are almost incompressible, right? I don't know whether have you seen anyone compressing a liquid. I have not seen anyone compressing a liquid. So theoretically, right, liquids are actually incompressible. Okay, so that's why, okay, that's the reason why we take only the gases, because in gases, what happens? Even a small application of any energy, right, might end up in a large change in volume. In the sense, they will undergo the volume expansion or volume compression. The change in volume will be significant, right? So that's the only reason we use what is that? Gases. Or in other words, what I can put is for any process, for any chemical reaction, right, there will be a considerable difference between my enthalpy value and my internal energy value if there are gases, right? If all of them are going to be in solids or liquid phase, I will get delta H minus delta E will be equal to 0. Okay, this is for solids, liquids, and aqueous solutions, right? So delta H minus delta E will become 0 because there will not be delta Ng will become 0, right? This one, delta Ng would have become 0, correct? So obviously for solids and liquids and aqueous solutions, delta H minus delta E, that is the difference between my enthalpy value and my internal energy value, will become 0. Okay, so this is where we stopped last class, right? So now what I'm going to do is actually we saw so many other things also, right? Not so many other things, right? So we'll go to that. Just give me a moment. I'll just include one more page. Yeah. So okay, now I told you in chemical reactions, people, right? When I go to chemistry, so we are going to actually deal with this. So we are going to deal with thermochemistry, right? So in thermochemistry, what do we do is basically we are going to find the enthalpy values for all types of chemical reactions. Okay, so we are going to find the delta H, right, for all the chemical reactions. Okay, so depending on what type of chemical reaction we have, right, say it can be a formation reaction. Say for example, something is getting formed, or say something is undergoing combustion, right? So combustion, we know it's like burning with oxygen, right? Say if something is undergoing dissolution, in the sense something is getting dissolved in a solvent, a solute is getting dissolved in a solvent, or say something is undergoing vaporization, something is undergoing say sublimation, right? So all these things are associated with the type of enthalpy. Say for example, if I talk about formation of something, I will call the enthalpy as enthalpy of formation, right? Say if at all something undergoes combustion, I will tell that it is going to be called as enthalpy of combustion for the particular chemical reaction, right? So before we move on to see that, I told you there are certain operations which you can do along with your delta H, right? So like there are three basic points which you have to remember. If you can remember, the first point was if I have a reaction like A giving B, right? If I have a reaction like A giving B, and for that say it is delta H, say some X value if I have. Okay, now if I reverse the reaction, if I have B giving A, at that time what is going to happen? You will see that the enthalpy value has also changed its sign. So now the enthalpy value will become minus X. Okay, so for forward reaction, whatever the value is there, for the backward reaction, it should be the negative sign of that. Okay, next. What happened? Okay. Okay. So second operation would be, say, if I have again A giving B is the reaction, and for this say it is delta H is some X value. Okay. So if I multiply throughout this reaction by a factor of n, right? So now what will happen to the equation? It will become Na gives Nb, right? So now what will happen to the enthalpy? Now this has to be reflected in the enthalpy value also. So delta H will become N into X, right? So whatever you have multiplied, the factor with which you multiply throughout the equation, right? That has to be reflected in the enthalpy value also. Okay. So fine. The third and final step, or third and final operation which you can do would be, say if I have A giving B, for this delta H is delta H1, right? Say B giving C is say delta H2, right? And say now I want to know what is the enthalpy for A giving C. I want to find what is my delta H value, right? Now what do you do? Now from this you can understand that if I add these two reactions, right? If I add A giving B and B giving C, I'll be ending up with this equation, correct? Right? So again, whatever you did, you are going to reflect it in the enthalpy value also. So you have added two reactions to get the third reaction, right? So the enthalpy value of this reaction will also be the sum of these two enthalpies of the previous reaction. So delta H in this case will be equal to delta H1 plus delta H2, right? So now these three operations alone you need to know. Is that okay, people? Right? So this is the brief of things what we saw last class, right? So we talked about what is enthalpy. We talked about the difference between enthalpy and internal energy, and we are going to deal with thermochemistry. We said that we are going to deal only with your enthalpies. So before we move on to see what are the different types of enthalpies, these are all the different types of operations you can do along with the enthalpies with respect to your chemical reactions, right? So this is what we saw. Okay. So now we'll move on. We'll move on to the actual part. Again, the page is over. I'll just start a new page, people. Okay. Right. So first enthalpy, right? The first type of enthalpy. Oops, sorry. Yeah. So the first enthalpy is what is called as enthalpy of formation. Right? Enthalpy of formation, right? So now there is a symbol along associated with this. So this delta enthalpy of formation can be represented as delta HF. F is the subscript. Okay, F should be in the down, right? Fine. So how do we define this, right? So first of all, people, please take down the definition. Okay, I'm going to give you the definition for enthalpy of formation. See, now we're going to see so many different types of enthalpies. Okay, let me tell you, this is the most important part of thermodynamics, at least with respect to chemistry, right? So this is the most important part, knowing that. So what I was telling. So yeah. So regarding thermochemistry, right? We're going to see different types of enthalpies. Okay, enthalpy of formation, enthalpy of combustion, enthalpy of neutralization, enthalpy of this, enthalpy of that, right? So for all these types of enthalpies, people, right, you need to know two things. One is your definition. How is it defined, right? And second thing, right, how do you write the chemical equation for that? Okay, two things. Like for any, not only for this enthalpy, for any enthalpy, people, two things are very, very important. One is your definition, right? And second thing is your reaction. How do you write your reaction is very, very important. Okay, fine. So first we'll go for enthalpy of formation. I'll tell you the definition. Then we'll see how to write the reaction. So please go on, people. Right? Please take down the definition. Right. So we're taking it. So it is the enthalpy change occurring. It is the enthalpy change occurring when 1 mole of a compound is formed. It is the enthalpy change occurring when 1 mole of a compound is formed from its constituent elements. Okay, from its constituent elements in their standard states. Okay. So I'll repeat the whole definition, people. Please, if you're not taking down, please take it down. I'm telling, it is the enthalpy change occurring when 1 mole of a compound is formed. Okay, we understand that 1 mole of compound is formed from what? From its constituent elements in their standard states. As simple as a definition, right? Okay. So please spend some 10 seconds in understanding what they say in the definition. Okay, so what they're telling is, okay, for example, I need to form CO2. Okay, I need to form CO2. Right. So if they tell you that, so first thing is you need to know the definition. We now understood the definition, right? What you have to say, what are the main things you have to understand from this is that you have to understand that I have to form only 1 mole of the product. Right. So for example, if you're going to form more CO2, you have to make sure that there is the stoichiometric coefficient of CO2 in the reaction is going to be only 1. Okay, that is the first thing you need to understand. Okay, now obviously it should be in the product side, right? Because I'm going to form it, right? That is the product. Okay, now next thing what you need to understand is, yes, okay, I understand that CO2 is getting formed, right? How is it going to get formed? It's not like the normal chemical reactions which you know. So there are a lot of ways by which we'll be able to produce CO2. Say for example, if I heat calcium carbonate, right? So I know I'll be getting CaO and CO2. No, those are not the reactions we are expecting. If you look at the definition properly, right, they say that you can form the compound. The compound is formed from its constituent elements. That's what they say, right? So now if you look at CO2, what are the elements present? Carbon, right, and oxygen. Right, carbon and oxygen are the elements present for carbon dioxide. Is it not? Now that not only that, okay, now see, okay, before I put O2, let me make you understand. Okay, so fine. So carbon and oxygen are the elements present in CO2, isn't it? Right. So what we need to understand is they are telling it's not only about the elements. You cannot just randomly choose the elements. The elements should be in their standard states. Okay. Now we need to know what is this standard state. Right, we need to know what is this standard state, right? Fine. So standard state means obviously how it is available in nature, right? Or I would say there are so many ways in which it is available in nature, but what is the most stable form of that particular element is what you need to understand. Okay, again I repeat, standard state talks about most stable state. Yeah, right? So it talks about the most stable state in which it is available in nature, right? So I think I made sense, right? Fine. So we know for O, oxygen, what is the most stable state it is available in nature? You tell me. Guys?
O2, sir.
Yeah, right. So obviously I know how it is available in nature. It is available in nature. Most stable form is obviously going to be oxygen, dioxygen molecule. So definitely this is the thing. Okay, fine. Next, now if I go for carbon, right? Now, what do you think is the most stable state of carbon? Any guesses? I don't expect you to know exact answer, but what will be your guess? What is the most stable state of carbon? Any idea? Any guesses?
What was the question?
Sorry?
What was the question, sir?
I'm asking what is the most stable state of carbon? For oxygen, we said O2 is the most stable state. So for carbon, what will be the most stable state?
C12, sir.
Oh, obviously, it is going to be in the elemental form. It is not going to be in molecular form. That is understood, right? So if you can remember, people, right, how carbon exists in nature, right? Carbon exists in different forms. And what are they called as? The different forms are what are called as?
Isotopes.
What?
Isotopes, sir.
No. Isotope means, okay. Yeah, isotope is if I have same atomic number but different mass number. Say carbon 12 only we take. Okay, so that is the most stable form of carbon. Obviously, that carbon 12 itself, how do you see it in nature? You have different physical forms of carbon, right? All these physical forms are called as what? To put together, what are these called as? Different physical forms. If I tell you the answer, you will sir, correct, sir. I know this.
Solid state, sir.
Sorry.
Like solid state, sir.
Exactly. So, okay, maybe. So you have diamond, you have graphite, right? These are all the different physical forms available for carbon in nature, right? So all these diamond, graphite, Buckminster fullerenes, all these things put together, they're called as what? Okay, I think you don't remember. They are called allotropes, people. If you hope you remember this, right? What do you mean by allotropes? Allotropes are different forms of the same element which exist in nature. So if someone asks you what are all the allotropes of carbon, you will tell that graphite, graphene. Second, people. So yeah, so graphite, graphene, Buckminster fullerenes, diamond, right? All these are the different allotropes of carbon. Okay, so anyways, now the question is, which is the most stable allotrope? Okay, that's the question now. Now, please understand, whenever you use carbon in the enthalpy of formation equation, the carbon should be in the form of graphite. You have to represent this. Gr represents that it is going to be graphite. Is it understood? Right? Fine. So let me go back again. Let me start a new page. So yeah. So if someone tells you, people, if someone tells you write the equation, right? Write the equation for that. Okay. So someone gives you like this: enthalpy of formation of CO2 is some X. Okay, they're giving you this information, and they're telling that enthalpy of formation of CO2 is some X. Okay, now how will you write the equation? This is how we already saw it, but again we'll see. So carbon in the form of graphite, right, plus O2, obviously in the form of a gas, will form CO2 in the form of a gas. Okay, and this is not the end. You have to write the enthalpy value along with this. For this, the enthalpy change is X. Okay, this is how you entirely write the thermochemical equation. This equation, what you wrote here, right, is what is called as your thermochemical equation. So chemical equation, you also give thermodynamic data. Thermodynamic data is obviously about your enthalpy changes. Is that understood? Okay, now we'll take one more example. Say I write delta H of H2O is some Y, some random value. Okay, water, enthalpy of formation of water. Okay, now I'll give you a minute. Now you tell me, how will I write the thermochemical equation for this? Yes, how do you write this?
H2 gas plus O2 gas will gives Y.
Okay, so obviously I know for hydrogen, the most stable state is H2, no doubt about it. Okay, so let me write it properly. Right, so for hydrogen, the most stable state is H2, and last time only we saw for oxygen it is O2, and obviously I'm going to form H2O, right? H2O gas, gas or liquid, depends. Okay, this is also H2 gas. Okay, right? So now is this equation correct? What we wrote here. So if can I tell that for this reaction only the enthalpy value is Y? Are we doing any mistake here?
correct only, no, sir?
What about balancing? See, please understand, enthalpy is actually an extensive property. We know all energies are extensive properties. Okay, but how do we make them intensive properties? By dividing it by a number of moles, isn't it? So always remember your enthalpies are represented in the form of kilojoule per mole. Okay, so that is why we say that you have to have the stoichiometric coefficient of the product to be 1. Even in this case it was 1. Okay, fine. So anyways, now whatever it is, just because you need to have 1 in the stoichiometric coefficient doesn't mean that you should not balance it. Okay, now I need to make sure that I need to have 1. Okay, but how do we generally balance? You know, how do we balance? Say I put a 2 here, right? I put 2H2. Hey, what happened? 2H2. So again, I put a 2 here, right? But this is not how you write it. Okay, now I have to make sure that the stoichiometric, so this is the balanced equation, right? 2H2 plus O2 giving 2H2O. This is the balanced equation, right? But the thing is, just from your definition of enthalpy of formation, we said that only 1 mole of the product should be formed. So what will you do? You have to make sure that the stoichiometric coefficient of H2O is 1. So the easiest way of doing it is dividing the whole equation by 2, right? So what will happen then? If I do that, this 2 will not be there. This 2 will not be there. But what will I have is half for your oxygen. Okay. Now for this reaction, yes, delta H is Y. That is what is given in this information. If this information is given to you, okay, so delta H of water is this much, right? So now this is how I write the equation, making sure that the stoichiometric coefficient of H2O is 1. That's very, 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 very important. Okay, now you can do whatever you want to the other things. I don't care. Like say this becomes half, O2 become half, right? That and all is completely fine. But what is more important is about the product, right? And the product, the stoichiometric coefficient should be 1. And for this, yes, the enthalpy value should match Y. Any questions, people? Okay, now let me give you another information. I mean, let me give you this thing. So you try to write the equation. I have enthalpy of formation of C2H6. C2H6 we know is ethane, right? Say is some say Z. Okay, now please write the equation for this thermochemical equation. I want you to write.
For C2H6, sir.
Yeah, for C2H6, yeah. That's fine. So now I'll go to the different page. Okay, so I wrote C. So delta H of C2H6 is some Z. I want to know what is the thermochemical equation. Yes. So most of you would have written it. So tell me, what is it? So there are two elements present. Okay, and the elements should be in their standard states, right? So one is carbon, another is hydrogen. So we know for carbon it is going to be graphite. For hydrogen it is going to be H2, right? And in the product you have to make sure that there is C2H6 stoichiometric coefficient of 1. Yeah, as simple as that. So what is the answer? And obviously you need to balance it. It's not like it's not like you need to have only one so you don't balance. You should balance. That's the point. Yes, so maybe once again I will ask I'll just come back to the meeting. 1 second, people. I'll ask someone in specific, maybe. Where is your Zoom? Yeah, Zoom is here. Hey, participants. So you have, okay, Bhavadharini, are you there, Kana?
Yes, sir.
Kana, can you tell me what will be the equation for this?
Is it 2 carbon graphite plus 3H2 gas gives C2H6?
Wonderful,
And
wonderful. Yeah, and completed. Yes, correct. Go on.
and enthalpy of formation equal to Z.
Very good, Bhavadharini. Very good. So yes, exactly what she told is the answer. So 2C2, I mean 2, okay. So 2C graphite in the form of graphite, because I have 2 carbon atoms here and I need to hydrogen is the form. So H2, and I have to make sure that I have 6 hydrogens. So it's 3H2 gives C2H6 in the form of gas or whatever it is. Okay, C2H is the form of a graph, and it's already balanced. 2 carbon atoms, 3 hydrogen atoms, and it's already that I have only the stoichiometric coefficient of 1 here. So no issues at all. And obviously, 1 second, people. So yeah, and obviously I have to complete this is thermochemical equation. So I'll write enthalpy of this. So please understand, people. Okay. So whenever you write the enthalpy, the given equation, like say the given information will be in this form. Enthalpy of formation of something is this one. Some value they will give. But when you write the thermochemical equation, right, you don't have to specify this delta H of, no, you can just write delta H. So how do we define enthalpy? Enthalpy of formation. It is the enthalpy change. For this particular process, we have written what is the process. So you should not specify again that this is going to be delta HF, right? This is just delta H. So that value is equal to Z. Okay. So one last example for enthalpy of formation. Then we'll move on to the next one, right? So we will see enthalpy. Yeah, this is the good one. Enthalpy of formation of ammonia is some, or wait, okay, not ammonia. Right, I will take CH3 OH. Okay, I have CH3OH is some say A value. Okay, so quickly, I think I have to ask someone. Whom should I ask? Participants. What about? Hey, why is it not going down? Okay. So what about Pranav? Are you there, Pranav? Pranav? I think Pranav is typing, hopefully. Are you typing, Pranav? Oh, just now. Yeah, sir, I just now joined. Okay, fine. Then I should not be asking. That's not fair. So what about Surya Muthu? Are you there, Kana?
Sir, I also only joined, sir. I was about to tell.
Okay, fine. Fine. Okay, what about Mithun?
I
Mithun, are you
slept
there?
late.
No problem, no problem, no problem. Mithun, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Kana, can you tell me what will be, where is it? So yeah. So how will you write the thermochemical equation for this? And I want to ask you people something. 1 second. See, Shruti, Bhavadharini,
Sir.
yeah,
Sir?
1 second. We'll come back to that. 1 second, 1 second. Just hold on. Yeah, what happened? Anything happened?
No, sir. I was coming to say that.
No, sir.
Okay. Hold your thought. Okay. So I want to ask Bhavadarani, Shruti, all the others are fine. Even the Divya is not here. Divya, right? Why is it that I don't see you regularly in classes, people?
Sir, only on Monday I didn't come, sir. I went to like my aunt's house.
Okay.
Only this week, Monday was not there, sir.
Okay, this week's Monday alone you were not there. What about Bhavadarani?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
I
you are
only
only
just
answering.
yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay, fine, fine. What about Shruti? What happened, Kanna?
Sir, only on this week Monday I was not there. So usually I regularly come, sir.
Okay, no, because why am I asking is so for the past few classes that I know, right, who some people will be very active in the classes, some people might not be. I have to ask them only, then they'll open their mouths. So Shruti is one, right? You generally are very active in the class, so your presence, I mean your absence were very much felt. And even Bhavadarini, see, almost all of you are actually engaging. At least when I ask you, nobody tells like, sir, no, sir, I don't want to answer, something like that. Everybody is actually doing good. But again, but I feel that it's been a little long time since I even heard your voice, Shruti. Anyways, so cool. So try to attend your classes very properly and obviously engage in classes. Right? So yeah, I was asking Mithun. Yeah, Mithun, are you ready with your answer?
Sir,
Mithun?
I was getting
Yeah.
CH3OH plus 3 by 2 O2.
CH3OH plus?
3 by 2 O2.
Okay, fine. I think there's a problem. Now, please understand, Mithun, right? Okay, first tell me what should be in the product side. Mithun?
Sorry, sir, I just spoke by. I didn't unmute, sir. Sir, CO2 plus 2H2O, sir.
Okay. Okay, so before we go on to that, you tell me what should be in the product side. What are we forming here?
Sir, methanol, sir.
Okay, fine. CH3OH.
Plus 3 by 2 O2.
You're telling that will be coming in the product side?
Yes, sir.
No. Okay, I think you didn't understand whatever happened last time. So please listen. I'll ask someone else to answer, but please listen, Mithun. Okay. So yeah. So let me. Oh wait. Let me ask. Maybe Surya. Are you there, Kanna? Surya Muttu. Oh, Surya. Now only you said that you just now joined. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Fine. What about Abhishek? Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Kanna, can you tell me what is the answer? What will be the thermochemical equation for this? This one. So please look at the last one, how we did it. It's exactly similar to that, right? Except that the compound is different. Yeah, tell me.
1 second, sir. 1 second, sir.
Yeah, sure. Okay, who's his name? Abhishek. Abhishek?
Sir. Sir, my parents came, so
No issues. Yeah. So are you ready with the answer, or you want me to help you? I can help you like step by step, and you can give me the answer. I can ask you the right questions. Like that way I can make you tell the answer.
okay, sir.
Okay, fine. So let me do that. So again, we already decided that in the product side, CH3OH should be there because we are forming CH3OH, isn't it? Okay. Now tell me, what are all the elements present in CH3OH? Hope you're there, Abhishek.
Yes, sir.
Right, I'm asking you, what are all the elements present in CH3OH?
Hydroxide,
What are elements?
hydrogen,
Okay, good. Hydrogen, good. Then,
carbon,
ah,
and oxygen.
good. Okay, hydrogen, carbon, and oxygen are the elements present. Okay, so let me put that here. Carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen is here. Okay, fine. So for now, I told you that everything, if you look at the definition of enthalpy of formation, I told that the product should be formed, the compound should be formed from its constituent elements. Okay, these are all the elements. Right. But again, one more thing is told, that the elements should be in their standard states. Okay, now first coming to carbon, what is the standard state of carbon?
Sir, gas, sir.
You can just look above and tell me what is the answer. Previous equation. What is the stable state of carbon? Okay, fine. What is the stable state of hydrogen?
Gas, sir.
Yeah, I'm not asking you the state. What is the form in which it is available? H will it exists like this only, H?
No, sir. Oh. Hydroxide, sir.
Okay, Kana. So you also please listen. Okay, I don't know what happened. Like we saw so many 2-3 examples. You also please listen. I'll ask someone else. Thank you, Abhishek. Okay, maybe Rahul, can you help me out? Rahul? I think there's some problem with Rahul. Rahul, are you there? Okay, I hope not. Fine. Maybe Venisha, Kana, can you help me? I know you'll not be able to unmute and speak, but you can put it in the chat. Yes. Oh, Rahul is there. Okay, then I can go to Rahul itself. Sorry, Venisha, you can rest for a while. I can ask Rahul because he's there. I didn't see the message. Yes, Rahul, go for it. Go tell me the answer. Oh, I'm asking for the enthalpy of formation of CH3OH. I gave you this thing, right? Can you tell me how the equation looks? The thermochemical equation. I said delta HF of CH3OH is some value A. How will you write the thermochemical equation? I think it will be a little tough to write it in the chat, I guess, because it's an equation. Okay, fine, cool. Fine, I think I have to go to maybe Shruti. Can you answer, Kana?
Yes, so carbon is in graphite form and
One second. Oh, sorry, what is this? Okay. Carbon and graphite form. Okay, good.
oxygen in O2 and hydrogen in H2.
Okay. Anything else?
And for balancing, I think it is 1/2 carbon plus
1/2 carbon. There is one carbon. There is one carbon here. So it's balanced.
For oxygen alone, I am not.
Correct. Oxygen, I have to put a half because there are one oxygen atom here. I have two oxygen atoms. What about H2?
We need to put 2. But
Yeah,
it
good. Because there are 4 hydrogen atoms, 3 plus 4. So I should put 2 H2s. Okay. And anything else?
I think that's also.
This is a thermochemical equation, right?
So the 1 has to be the stoichiometric.
Yeah, that is okay. Anything else? This is a thermochemical equation. So you have to provide the thermochemical data. This is just an equation, right?
Then del H equal to A.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, del H is equal to A. So this is the entire equation for your this enthalpy of formation of CH3OH. So whomever didn't understand, whomever didn't give me the answer properly, hope you understood now how do you write it. So please make sure that there is in the product, whatever is given here is there in the product, right? And next thing what you have to look at is about the elements present here. You see carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, right? And you have to just write the elements, and you just have to think about what are the stable states. For carbon it is graphite, for oxygen it is O2, for hydrogen it is H2, right? And that's it. Now next thing what I do is balancing. And while balancing, even though if you get some other number other than 1 here, okay, other than 1 here, if you get some other number, whatever number you get after balancing, just divide the entire equation by that number. So you remember what I did in H2O. I got 2 H2O. So what I did, I divided the entire equation by 2 so that I get only 1 H2O. Okay, so that's what we did. And thermochemical equation. So obviously I will end up with the thermochemical data. We'll writing as delta H is equal to A. Okay, so whomever didn't understand, I think it was Rahul was there, Pranav, Mithun, Abhishek, right? I think everybody understood. How do you write it?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Right. So this is how the equation is written. What is the time? So it's 8:01. So I think I'll stop here, people. Right. So see, there are a lot of things like this in this thing. So I know it will be difficult initially, but please do not give up. Please don't lose patience. I'm right here just for you. Okay. So even if you 1000th time also you didn't understand, you have all the rights to ask me, sir, please explain again. Right. But see, now since I asked you this question, now I know that okay, so many of you didn't understand. But what would have happened if I didn't ask you? Right? So you must have all the liberty and all the rights to ask me, sir, I didn't understand. Please explain me again. You can even tell me, sir, I didn't listen. My mom was there. I want to doing something. So if you can explain me again, it is better for me. So you have all the rights to ask people. Do not feel shy. No, I am not judging you. I will be very happy if you ask me, and I'll be very happy if you're able to answer most of the questions what I'm going to ask. Okay. So anyways, we'll see you again next class. Until then, thank you. Okay, I'll stop sharing now.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, guys. We'll meet again. I'll end the session.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.